Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that is honestly a total game changer for modern education. We're looking at a recent initiative called the Life Plus eTwinning Project. And what you're about to see is basically a brilliantly effective, highly replicable blueprint for building cross-border teamwork and actual 21st century skills right inside the classroom.
So let me ask you this. What actually happens when you combine 77 students, 2 different countries, and artificial intelligence? I mean, it sounds like the setup for some massive corporate tech summit, right? But the really fascinating part is that we are talking about 10 to 14-year-olds here. This is the absolute intersection of cross-cultural teamwork and modern tech, and it's happening right in middle school classrooms.
77. That is a massive number of young minds working together, and these highly active students were guided by a core team of just 13 dedicated educators. Just imagine trying to coordinate 77 preteens across different time zones. I mean, anyone who has ever babysat knows that requires some serious organization and a totally rock-solid structural framework.
So who were the 2 partner countries pulling this off? Turkey and Romania. And the crucial takeaway here is that this cross-cultural partnership seamlessly bridged classrooms separated by hundreds of miles. They didn't just, swap a curriculum syllabus and call it a day. They created a completely shared learning environment, bringing these 2 rich cultures face-to-face to really collaborate. Okay, here's a high-level roadmap of how this whole 5-month project went down. Notice how the timeline progressively builds up momentum and complexity as they go. We start off in December with eco-art and math. Then we jump into digital publishing in January. By February, they're tackling digital awareness. March introduces AI and heritage, and the whole thing culminates with cultural mapping in April. It is literally a masterclass in scaling up student engagement.
Let's dive right into Phase 1, eco-art to digital magazines.
What's absolutely brilliant here is the contrast. They kick things off in December by developing physical skills with these delightful old-school tactile crafts. They got super eco-friendly by upcycling waste paper into Play-Doh, and they even explore the artistic side of math with fun geometry origami. But then, in January, they immediately pivoted to new school digital literacy. They launched into Canva magazine creation and an online book club. This kind of dual approach is just so smart because it ensures students stay totally grounded in the physical world while they're mastering the digital one.
Let's talk a little more about that January digital shift. They launched this must-read book club. And no, this wasn't just your standard silent reading time at your desk. This fostered some deep international collaboration. Students from Turkey and Romania would read a book and then actually recommend inspiring titles to their peers across the border. Such a fantastic way to build genuine empathy and shared interests before you make them tackle the more complex digital stuff together. And all that connection fed directly into their next big deliverable, mixed international teams, meaning you literally had Turkish and Romanian students working side by side in the exact same groups. Use Canva to publish the Life Plus magazine. They covered some really diverse curriculum-spanning topics too, like digital literacy, life skills, science, maths, and active citizenship. They were essentially functioning like a real-world, cross-border editorial team, blending graphic design with serious academic content.
Moving right along to Phase 2, e-safety and AI folktales.
Now, before you let a bunch of students loose with advanced tech, you absolutely need a foundation of safety. So in February, educators dedicated the entire month to digital awareness. They celebrated e-Safety Day across all the participating schools. They hosted this highly informative webinar, and then just to keep things fun, they tested the students' knowledge with a thrilling Kahoot challenge. It's a perfect textbook example of teaching responsibility before capability.
Which brings us to March. And wow, this is where it gets really innovative. Check out these steps for their cultural exchange. Step 1, the students swapped traditional cultural folktales. Step 2, they used cutting-edge AI tools to actually generate videos of these stories. And Step 3, they shared these AI-generated heritage videos across borders. Think about that for a second. They took something as ancient as a local folktale and totally modernized it using the latest artificial intelligence, and the whole thing was driven by 10 to 14-year-olds.
But here's the really crucial point. They didn't just get lost in cyberspace. Even while they were deploying this advanced AI to generate videos, the project stayed incredibly well-rounded. The teachers made absolutely sure that students continued doing practical life skills activities alongside all those high-tech tasks. It's all about that balance, keeping young learners anchored to the real world.
And that leads us perfectly into Phase 3, monuments, maps, and impact.
By the time April rolled around, it was time to step outside. They mark the International Day of Monuments and Sites by physically going out and visiting historical landmarks right in their own local areas in Turkey and Romania. Then, they brought that physical experience right back into their shared digital space. They beautifully mapped all of these cultural treasures together using a collaborative Padlet map. So they basically went ahead and built a custom, interactive cross-cultural atlas.
And that brings us to the culmination of this whole incredible blueprint. Months of hard work resulted in a comprehensive final video that perfectly encapsulated their shared growth. To quote the participants directly, "It has been an unforgettable collaboration. A huge thank you to all the teachers and students who made the Life Plus project such a massive success."
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this one provocative thought. How can we implement this kind of blueprint for global collaboration in our own local schools? We've just walked through the entire roadmap, from making paper Play-Doh all the way up to AI video generation, bridging 2 entire countries with a core team of just 13 dedicated educators. Seriously, think about how these scalable, cross-cultural ideas could absolutely transform the classrooms in your own community. The tools are there, the blueprint is totally proven. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely share this with the educators in your life to spark some fresh ideas. See you next time.